Top 10 Overrated Movies. There's no best 10 film list that can cause more irate reactions than a main 10 misrepresented list. The issue is that each film fan has their very own rundown of most misrepresented motion pictures. This doesn't mean every one of these films are horrendous, indeed huge numbers of them will be undisputed top choices of other film fans. That being stated, even acceptable or fun motion pictures can be severely misrepresented. This is a rundown of the 10 most misrepresented motion pictures in current occasions. This rundown contains an opposition further subtleties at the lower part of the rundown. 10 Training Day. 2001. After 12 stunning films, this was the one that Denzel Washington at long last won an Oscar for. Truly? Beside the way that this repeated plot isn't anything near unique, it seems like this film got the consideration it did in light of the fact that Denzel played a troublemaker and that was abnormal. This had the very impact that Wayne Brady as a psycho accomplished for the Chappelle's Show. It very well may be uncontrollably mainstream since it's abnormal, however that doesn't mean the film was that acceptable. Truth be told, it was exceptionally normal, best case scenario. 9. Reservoir Dogs. 1992. This is anything but an awful film. Indeed, it's very acceptable and certainly engaging, yet for all the publicity that this film got, it unquestionably qualifies as exaggerated. This film is on the IMDb Top 250 rundown, however the exchange isn't excessively amazing, and just an antecedent to MASH fiction, which is greatly improved. And a ton of this film depends on stunts like the non-sequential request and flashbacks, which are utilized as style decisions to shroud plot inadequacies. This is a decent film, however it's not really a best 200 ever. 8. Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. 1986. Whales. Whales can associate with obscure outsiders who are totally relentless, and are the main species who can spare Earth, driving time travel to 1980s America. An extremely unconventional film with a plot that sketchy doesn't start to depict. Let this one bite the dust unobtrusively, bring back Con. 7. The Others. 2001. It seems like everybody adores this film, however by this film is misrepresented. It's moderate, and sets aside a long effort to happen with discontinuous panics. A genuinely keen film, however not overwhelmingly splendid, the same number of guarantee, with a truly good bend, yet the equilibrium simply isn't right. Excessively long and exhausting, with a curve finishing that while fair, was really not difficult to sort out almost immediately in the film. The completion arrangement is amazing, however like numerous other misrepresented movies this is a good film that took too long and forgot about its equilibrium. 6. Scarface. 1983. A ton of Al Pacino motion pictures are misrepresented, and it's not difficult to contend that Pacino is reliably one of the most exaggerated entertainers in Hollywood. Look, he's shouting and cussing. I'd state once more, however, when did Pacino plug sufficiently long to fire up once more? While this was an advancement film in the feeling of brutality, one needs to think about how this film got its status. The F word is utilized unendingly, so much for insightful exchange, the brutality is path over the top, and there truly are vastly improved composed medication, mafia, or rough films. This film may be unbelievable, yet it's difficult to contend that this film would in any case hold up on the off chance that it was a fresh out of the plastic new delivery. 5. Shakespeare in Love. 1998. Not in any event, going into the unbelievable extending and negligence for chronicled truth this film delighted in, remember that this was the film that kicked the butt of Sparing Private Ryan, Dull City, American History X, and The Big Lebowski, all around the entertainment expos. Yet let it be known 9 out of 10 had totally failed to remember that this film had ever even existed until it just showed up on this rundown. After 10 years and this current film's rivals will be associated with years or even a long time to come. While this film made its romantic comedy sprinkle and afterward expeditiously vanished once the following one came out. 4. Chicago. 2002. Alright, even with conceding that 2002 was a down year for films, is that actually a reason for Chicago to win Best Picture? This was an engaging picture, yet Best Picture. Really? The Pianist, Igby Goes Down, Posses of New York, and The Lord of the Rings. The Two Towers, were all astounding films, and it's difficult to acknowledge that Chicago was the best of the yield here. This film was fun in the event that you like a melodic, yet it's not really a Best Picture. 3. Titanic. 1997. Another long, supreme old hat sentimental romantic comedy, aside from Sweethearts went so nuts over this one that it broke records for cash got over a crazy multi-month theater running. This film is the greatest moneymaker ever? Truly? Titanic was a long and exhausting drama without great acting, level cardboard characters, and the untouched banality of an appalling romantic tale between two star-crossed darlings. This is one of the most exaggerated movies ever, and you could even present a defense for this one as number one, then again. Actually there are sufficient individuals who concur with this evaluation to cut it down the misrepresented rundown. 2. Clerks. 1994. There were segments of this film that were comical, yet there were twice the same number of that weren't entertaining in any way. Much more terrible, as any late-night store assistant can validate, these sorts of occupations give huge loads of clever and absurd stories that might have been utilized in this film. However, were scarcely even contacted, rather selecting a great deal of cussing and express sex jokes. Different parts, similar to Jay cussing everybody up, simply aren't unreasonably entertaining. This was a noteworthy free film, however nothing that ought to have accomplished the close to epic status it appreciates. 1. Apocalypse Now. 1979. Any individual who isn't overwhelmed by Star Force will recognize the truth about this, a miserable exhausting film that doesn't do Heart of Darkness any equity. This was horribly acted, unnatural, and by one way or another figured out how to be preposterously over-sensational with no dramatization. However, this film is broadly viewed as one of the 100 best ever and is praised for its star power. End of the World Now is frightfully exaggerated, and is on the first spot on this list to act as an illustration of a horrible film that is commended for its status over the film itself.